What do you do when a friendship starts to feel more like an obligation? Hey guys, it's Becca, and as you can tell by the title of this video, we're talking about a pretty interesting subject today, and it can be a really hard one actually for a lot of people. Because aren't we supposed to just love everyone and be there for everyone all the time? Well, yes and no. Yes, we're supposed to love everyone. Let's just get that out there. Love everyone. But showing everyone love and being kind to everyone doesn't mean you need to be actively investing your time and energy into every person you come across. There just isn't physically enough time in a day for you to do that. But we still feel guilty if we can't, even though we're not physically able to give all of our attention to everyone. We live in a very connected time, right? We have Facebook, we have Instagram, we have Twitter, we have Snapchat. There's a whole plethora of options to keep in touch with people. So when we decide not to, it can seem like a bit of a slap in the face. But I don't think that it should. If you're in a friendship that just needs to end, that's not really sustainable the way it is, ending that friendship isn't saying, I think you're a bad person. It's just allowing your relationship to come to a natural end instead of kind of prolonging the inevitable. So now that we've got the guilt part out of the way, let's go into the actual video. Ending a friendship can be difficult because it can be really hard to tell when it's time. How do you know you're not just going through like some sort of rough patch or something in your friendship? I mean, friends fight, that's just part of any relationship. So I've kind of summarized this into 3 different groups of types of friendships that just need to end. And of course, this isn't an exhaustive list. I just think that it helps to kind of think of them in these kinds of categories. Especially since, like we said before, there's so much guilt surrounding this, I think it's really important to look at this from an emotional, spiritual, and psychological health standpoint. Okay, so the first sign you should end a friendship is if it's emotionally draining. When you talk to this person, you come out of it just exhausted. You feel drained, you don't have any energy, you just want to eat junk food and watch Netflix for hours to recuperate. Maybe they're just really clingy and require way too much of your time, and frankly, you just can't handle that because you just don't have that much time. If you're in one of these friendships, you need to create boundaries for yourself. And this isn't about being mean to your friend. It's really more about you making sure that you stay healthy, like psychologically. If you're always talking to someone or always spending time with someone who you find really draining, that's gonna take a toll on your mental health, guys. Seriously, I have had so many times where I'm feeling really anxious or really depressed and realize that I've been putting all my time and energy into making sure everyone else is okay and haven't taken a single moment to make sure I'm actually okay. And it's not selfish to take care of yourself. Yes, it's selfish if you're the only person you ever think about, but if you're in a friendship where you're doing all of the work and they're using you as kind of a human dumping ground for their emotional issues, that's not a real friendship anyway. You ending that friendship isn't you being selfish, it's just you stopping the enabling process of that person using other people as an emotional dumping grounds. If being friends with someone means sacrificing your mental health, take a step back. The second time when it's definitely okay to end a friendship is when you just can't trust them. This one's especially difficult when you grew up with the person. If you just met someone and like 2 days in, you're like, oh my gosh, we're best friends, and then 3 weeks later they do something really crappy and they hurt you, it's usually pretty easy to end those kinds of friendships. But what if you've been friends with someone since you were like in kindergarten and then they do something to break your trust and it's really something you can't come back from? Those can be really hard friendships to end. And I speak from experience on this one. I've had to do this a couple times and it sucks. And we try to rationalize not ending it by saying, oh, I should forgive this person. And yes, forgive them. That is the #1 thing you ever need to do to get healing or to have a full, purposeful life where you're not dwelling in bitterness and resentment. You need to forgive, of course. But forgiving doesn't mean getting back to normal. It just means accepting a new normal where you aren't focused on getting vengeance. Your time and your friendship is a precious resource. You want to be giving it only to people who really deserve it. So if there's someone that you're investing all of your time in who doesn't deserve it because they've broken your trust, let them move on with their life. It's okay, you can move on with yours too. Doesn't mean they're going to be at odds with each other. You just might not be as close friends anymore. That's also another thing I think we misunderstand when it comes to ending friendships. Just not being friends with someone doesn't mean that you're actively not friends with someone. I have a lot of friends who I was really close to for a long time and we're just not anymore. We're on good terms. We're just, not part of each other's daily lives anymore. And I mean, that's okay. So we need to, again, stop with this guilt thing. It doesn't mean we need to be in this huge fight or say, I think you're a horrible person. It just means we're accepting that sometimes things have to come to a natural end. Okay, so all that said, on to the last one. Third time, and perhaps the most important, is when the person's getting in the way of your walk with God. If you're friends with someone who just is really making it hard for you to follow God, I mean, you need to let that one go. See, the thing is, where you spend the majority of your time is where your mind and your heart are gonna end up being too. So if you're spending all of your time with people who are living actively against what God says to, and who are dragging you in there with them so that you're also doing those things, you're gonna have a very hard time keeping your heart and your mind on Christ. But what this does not mean at all is that you are never friends with someone who doesn't believe the same thing you do. That is ridiculous and closed-minded and just frankly impossible in this world. But what it does mean is you're able to see the difference between people who simply don't believe what you do and people who drag you into things that you know are wrong. When someone is actively a force against you following God, you need to seriously reevaluate that friendship. It's just a part of guarding your heart and guarding your mind and keeping your eyes on Christ. So that's all I have for you for today. If you want some more practical advice about how to actually end the friendships, I actually wrote a blog post as a follow-up to this video. The link is in the description box below. You know, we're all about thriving here. I want to help you thrive and live life to the fullest, and you just can't do that if you're holding on to relationships that are holding you back. Anyway, I hope you liked this video. As always, if you did, give it that thumbs up. Let me know what you thought about it in the comments below, and if you don't want to miss my next one, make sure to subscribe. So until next time, take care and live life as a dare.